Hello, this is my March plan with me, with a springtime picnic theme. Here you can see the pencil sketch outline that I've planned for all of my spreads for March. I'm planning on this cutout kind of flower border, so I've planned more of my weeks in advance than I usually would. For my cover page, I've sketched out this girl walking with a cute little picnic basket full of tulips. I really wanted to draw tulips this month, and originally wanted white tulips, but I just couldn't make it work with the colour palette. So I put a little bit of yellow in there. I think it's still cute, if anything it's a bit more springtime. So I'm using my coloured pens to outline all of the line work so that I can erase the pencil before going in with brush pens. I like to use coordinating colours for the lines to give an overall softer effect rather than using black. I'm not trying to be too neat. I really don't want to be worrying about being precise. Like you see, I don't draw any of her toes. I decided it wasn't worth the stress. And the effect is the same even without those little details. Now I can erase all of the pencil work. I would previously not use line work because I prefer the softer effect of no lines, but it's quite difficult to use brush and marker on top of pencil and then erase. The pencil just gets trapped under the marker and it just makes a horrible mess. So you really need to draw some lines in or just freehand the drawings. I've used a few different colours, mainly this brown for the basket, and I decided to tie it in with the same brown for the hair. Again, you can see I'm not colouring in the full thing, just if anything adding in more line work with this thicker brush pen layer. And here's when I realise I don't have enough skin tone brush pens. I don't usually draw people, I draw flowers. So I had to make do with my one choice of this opal colour. Which is not what I planned for her, but that is what it is. I'm now doing a little messy line lettering for the month header, March. I've used a few different green pens to get that kind of sketchy effect. I'm not sure I got where I wanted, but I'll revisit it later. Now for the calendar, I usually like to use this to display my entire colour palette, but for this picnic theme, I wanted to showcase a gingham pattern with the days of the month. So I outlined the boxes in the appropriate colours and then followed a gingham pattern of green and white. So I started with this minty colour, and then for the darker greens I originally wanted to just layer the mint, but it didn't get quite dark enough, especially for camera. In person it was okay, so I had to use this other green colour. And for the white squares I just coloured them in with a pale grey so that they do stand out from the background. I used the same colour for her white dress. And then I simply letter the days of the week and the days of the month. Again, using coordinating green or grey colours. I think the overall effect is somewhat what I wanted. I'm now cutting out a little panel on the right hand side, leaving a border to maintain the size of the page. And now behind this I want to replicate that gingham pattern on a smaller scale to tie it together and make a nice border for the page underneath. Here I mess up and leave too many spaces between my second and third lines, but such is life. If you do this yourself, I recommend starting with the horizontal lines first and then taking the vertical lines in stages instead of in one go. Unless you have a long enough ruler, I don't know why I don't. I don't mind too much that it's a bit messy. So now I'm darkening the dark squares with my other green pen. And now you can see me trying to erase some of my mistake with a white gel pen. And now you can see how it peeps out of the cover page. And now I'm adding a bit more green pen to the cover page for the March header, and I'll continue to do that for the rest of the setup. Now for my first page, I like to do a line a day spread. So I separate the month into the weeks of the month and leave space for each day for me to write a line at the end of the day about how I felt or what happened or really anything I want about that day. I think it's a nice thing to look back on, remember how you feel or what events happened, and an opportunity for reflection in your day. On the next page, I set up my weekly task spread, which is where I write down my bigger projects and responsibilities which I need to make sure I migrate into each week when I set it up. This includes things like teaching or whatever classes I'm required to supervise that month. Here I'm adding just a little tulip doodle to this empty space. And now for the first weekly setup, I have this border of tulip patterns that I'm planning for each week. And with the cutouts, they should all peek through, and that way you get to enjoy the drawings you made for more than just the 1 week. Again, I'm outlining the line art with matching coloured pens and then going in with brush marker after erasing the pencil. I put in a tiny little calendar in the top left corner. This will peek through the cutout as well, so it will function for more than just this week of March. I don't worry too much about how I plan my weekly spreads. I really just do what I feel like, and I change it up every week with the colors or the fonts or anything. So for the first week I decided to use a range of pens in my color scheme to write out the days of the week and do these oversized numbers for the date. I lightly erase the pencil before going in on the big numbers because I know it will not erase well after I've gone in with the pen, but I do not trust myself to freehand things like this. I add a little matching border on all of them and draw in dots for where I would put tasks and events next to the days of the week. Since in lockdown I don't have too many events, I find that 2 spots is perfectly sufficient for me. Here I have my rolling weekly task list. Now I've gone back to the cover because I'm still not satisfied and add even more line work. And here's the final flip through of this bright springtime March setup. Please check out my Instagram to see more pictures and to see the rest of the weekly setups and to see how my idea for these cutout weeklies works out.